Charli XCX has dropped Rock Music, a track that is really less of a splashy lead single and feels more like a bridge to what likely will be her 8th record. Yes, apparently Wuthering Heights does count as XCX7. I think it has aged magnificently and is worthy of that title. I just wanted to make this quick video to kind of make sense of this track. I'm going to contextualize it with her own words via interviews and also past works while looking into the song and its music video. This track is a little odd. It comes in at under 2 minutes. Its cover proudly declares it a creation of Charli, Alex, and Finn's. The lyrics, "I think the dance floor is dead, so now we're making rock music," was first hinted at in British Vogue last month. It was something that lit Stan Twitter on fire and even drew unnecessary fire from thirst trapper and fellow dance musician John Summit. I read the whole interview and it revealed that Charli wasn't going to make another dance floor ready album because it would have felt really hard and really sad for her to do it. Ironically enough, she went on to reveal that this album isn't even full rock, which is a blow to sucker fans wishing for a return to that punky pop sound. Strangely enough, this single feels very hyper pop in its exaggerated, overprocessed, and distorted guitar and vocal emphasis. We'll get into that later though. I highly recommend you read the interview, but it felt like it was the key to understanding what this track meant. The absence of her trademark autotune is intentional. It's meant to evoke what she was describing as their version of analog. My favorite quote in this has to be the bit about finding humor and going guitar-centric. It's fun to flip the form. We know there's going to be people who are bothered by it, but we're fine. I feel like that's sort of the thesis statement of this song. Fans believe that this upcoming record will be titled Conversations based on a promotion that she had where she invited fans in New York to have unfiltered talk time with her. Super jealous, by the way. Rock music itself is a continuation of what I believe to be Charli's ethos as an artist. She's always been a provocateur. That is something that was only really finally celebrated widely by the public during the Brat summer and the ensuing mania of it. In many ways, I sort of read this as a sister spiritually to the now iconic song Vroom Vroom of hers. That song was then panned as a total mess at the time, infamously by Laura Snapes of Pitchfork, who went on to publicly express regret about it years later. As we all know, Vroom Vroom went on to become the cornerstone of a budding hyperpop genre at the time, though it definitely helped that that was produced by the legendary and late Sophie. Whether rock music goes on to have such a legacy akin to that song is debatable and probably unlikely. Still, I can't help but find parallels in this initial reception I'm seeing from fans. Weirdly enough, I've noticed that publications seem to be hedging their bets, providing rather glowing praise or at least interest in what Charli has to be setting up, probably in the hopes of not getting whacked in the future. But for all of us remembering, Vroom Vroom had been this turning point for Charli after the burnout of Sucker's developments and the heavy push of the label at the time for her to follow a mold. It marked Charli's first steps towards becoming the cult artist she is today. Rock music kind of follows the monumental Brat, which sought to fulfill that pop star destiny that she wanted for herself, but she got to do it on her own terms that time, which is a very rare opportunity and moment that really only comes once. However, per tracks on the remix album and her recent film The Moment, it appears that Charli's tortured herself enough over how to move forward from it. This track and the new project coming so shortly after Wuthering Heights, itself an intentional revisit of her debut album sounds, feels like vow renewals. With rock music, she's chosen to create for the sake of creating. Now let's look at the track and the video's visuals. It immediately opens with her smoking out the window in New York and throwing an old-fashioned Samsung TV out the window, which is a nice inside joke considering that they used to be her sponsors during Crash. Charli sings about her friends taking pictures, crying, and making stuff. She has a very cheeky bit with her recent go-to director Aiden Zamiri during the kiss each other incestuous line. That line itself is a satirical bit about how she's keeping the work with her longtime team. She's walking through the city. We get a mosh pit during the chorus. Now the mosh pit feels ironic because honestly it's just the dance floor in another font. Instead of dance music, it's just rock music, but the act of losing yourself in a crowd is still there. During the little break, she's smoking an absurd amount of cigarettes, which itself feels like a parody or nod to certain people's perception of her as an ashtray. The second verse is a confessional little part about real nerve damage that she had from the Sweat tour. The headbanging is also a part of the rock culture too, and she's tangled in these chords at one point, mimicking the way that you expect rock stars to perform. And then we see her in a fab neck brace in a limo, and she says, sometimes hurting yourself is the only way you remind yourself you're alive. She ends that verse talking about crowd surfing, which is putting faith in your audience to kind of catch you and carry you and not let you fall. This is like a dare to the listener that she knows that she's about to do that leap, and it's okay if they don't catch her today, but she knows she's gonna fall. Or might at least. Then we get the chorus again. There's a killer shot where the drum that she's on blows up. There's assorted rocker shots of her with even more cigarettes, one evoking the holy touch, riding the limo, and finally taking the brace off. I love the fact that the track ends abruptly with this closing image of her being broken apart by the crowd, which is breaking the fourth wall. All of this analysis might end up meaning nothing, but the fact that we have 2 minutes that are just so dense visually, it's a testament to Charli's intentionality. Her and her team clearly have this concept that we're finally getting a little taste of. I'll admit that the song did throw me for a loop on my first listen. I didn't hate it, but there was something so aggressively superficial about the guitars, something so abrasive about the vocals in the chorus that it didn't click for me initially, until I realized that this entire song almost feels like a glitch. This track really works stronger for me with the visuals, which more or less remind us that this has to be some form of satire. On a lyrical level, it's actually very much in line with her previous work in the candor and plain language. The sustained delivery of rock in rock music is hypnotic, yet almost like the dance floor Charli is glitching out and screaming in a void like she's in the wrong place. The production itself resembles PC music, but if it like veered into rock, and I mean that as a compliment, the guitars are so on the nose, almost artificial sounding despite being clearly analog. Like hyperpop accentuates and self-references standard elements of its parent genre, this almost feels like hyper rock. One thing for sure is that Charli really wants to turn the page on Brat. The cover art still has that minimalistic approach to it, but note the font shift from the narrow Arial of Brat to a now bold Times New Roman. I really think it speaks volumes. Times New Roman is the default on many word processors, or was at least for a time. I remember writing my school essays in that font, and now we get to kind of see it become a symbol of being iconoclastic. That's trippy. Personally, I just found rock music to be a daring new addition to Charli's canon. It's a signal that she's probably not chasing after traditional success. She's aiming to create something new. The motivations shift, whether it's some salve to an invisible pain or a compulsion to create for the sake of creation. We don't know. Some people believe that she's still actively trying to shift the zeitgeist yet again, but I'm not sold on that. Her impact on pop was this precious, incidental, mostly organic thing of always being slightly ahead of the curve. Now she's just trying to make sense of the afterwards, clearly not taking the easy route, but clearly seeming to have fun along the path, and I think that's the real punk rock of it all. But what do I know? While I was recording and editing this video, Charli revealed a B-side to the single, I Keep Thinking About You Every Single Day. It's also a short track. It's a sweet little ode to French New Wave cinema and possibly being gay for a friend. I personally also read this as a companion piece to her sapphic movie, Eruptia, and it's kind of text that plays with that viral video of her saying that she has like bi vibes. It's cute, but it's not as impactful as rock music. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about the song Rock Music, whether you love it or you hate it, or whether or not you get it or you don't get it. Honestly, I just really make these videos for the comment sections. Shout out to my members. Thank you so much for supporting me. Shout out to my subscribers. I love you guys. I am going to constantly be making videos now because everyone's dropping left and right. Reminder to follow my Substack if you haven't already. I am constantly writing on it now that I have a lot of time and people are dropping things left and right. I might review an album that I might not be able to record a review for, so keep your eyes peeled on that, and hope to see you next video.